Local school districts respond as more than 100 area doctors sign a letter imploring them to require masks in school.
Military leaders describe the situation on the ground in Afghanistan. I'm Natalie Brand with the evacuation efforts and the chaos as thousands try to flee.
Booster shots for the fully vaccinated may be on the way. I'm Deborah Alfarone in Washington with the recommendation from the White House and what you need to know.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
More than 100 area physicians sign a letter addressed to local school districts imploring the districts to adopt universal masking. This is KOAM News at 5. We begin our coverage tonight with KOAM's Chris Warner, who spoke with 2 of the physicians who signed the letter.
Doctors from Mercy, Freeman, and even those not affiliated with either hospital signed the letter. The letter was addressed to 12 districts in our area, imploring 11 of those districts to adopt universal masking. The 12th, the Joplin area Catholic schools, already has a mandatory mask policy in place. The other 11 districts are Joplin, Carl Junction, Webb City, Carthage, College Heights, Neosho, Seneca, Thomas Jefferson Independent Day School, Galena, McDonald County, and East Newton.
Our goal is that we just want to be able to partner with them so that we can have the best outcome as far as children's health goes. As a physician, our priority is public health, and many of us have children that are in these schools, and that's why we took personal interest in this.
Dr. Wilberding says they also took issue with part of Joplin's reentry plan, specifically as it pertains to quarantines. Tonight at 6, we'll hear more from Dr. Wilberding and one of his colleagues at Mercy on what they hope the letter will achieve. I'm Chris Warner for KOAM News.
Chris, thanks. Now, we reached out to the school districts that are involved in that letter. Many say they appreciate the information, but say much of that information is information they already had. Districts have also said they had discussions with their area's health department when putting their policies together and will continue to be in contact with them as the year goes on. All of the 9 public school districts the letter was addressed to are making masking voluntary, at least when school starts. All of the districts that have responded to KOAM's request for comment have said they will make adjustments to their procedures during the year if that's needed. In Neosho, they have a policy to require masking if positive cases reach 7% of a school's student population.
And just trying to get a feel for where our team members were at and then where our community was at was they felt they should be an option, not mandated. So we navigate that, and at the same time, we try to figure out ways that we can do our part to keep them as safe as possible.
The Galena School District says masks are optional there as well, and that this is their 5th day in school with no evidence of COVID spread in the schools so far. All right, now today's KOAM News Now Insta poll question. Should schools implement a universal masking policy? You can participate in the poll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to check in on them tonight at 10. Nick Kelly, some more of the area got some rain today.
And it's trying its best once again, Dad, to keep most of us away from the 90-degree heat. Joplin was one of those spots. So far, the warmest I've seen Joplin go was about 87, 88 degrees. But with all these heavy showers coming and going across the city, that's kept us away from the 90-degree heat, at least at the airport. We still have another scattering of showers and a couple of storms. Let's say from Jasper up to Lamar, some near Nevada, and some across central parts of Cherokee County. These are, again, scattered storms. Nothing too crazy, but something I'll keep an eye on as we continue through the rest of the evening. All fired up due to our main upper level low beginning to lift north and east of the region, but still close by to keep some rain chances in the forecast. If you're underneath clouds and the rain, you're in the mid to upper 70s. Everyone else is sitting in the mid to upper 80s, but everyone will fall through the 70s this evening, down to 71. Even though we have a few more days worth of rain chances now, the heat is ready to return. We'll break down when here in a bit.
Catch you then. Ex-Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, who fled Afghanistan prior to the fall of Kabul, is in the United Arab Emirates with his family. News about his current location comes as thousands of his countrymen and U.S. citizens are also trying to flee the country. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
Okay. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
This video shows the chaos and crowds outside the airport in Kabul as thousands are trying to flee the country.
We've dispatched small military teams to 2 of the airport's gates to assist the State Department consular efforts as they evaluate and process individuals seeking entry.
Military leaders briefed President Biden at the White House about conditions on the ground.
Currently, the security situation at the airport is stable. However, there are threats, and we're closely monitoring those. At any moment, they could happen.
There are reports that the Taliban has set up checkpoints, making it difficult for people trying to get to the airport.
Are engaging directly with the Taliban to make clear that we expect them to allow all American citizens, all third country nationals, and all Afghans who wish to leave to do so safely and without harassment.
The State Department says it will double the number of consular officers to process visa applications for people trying to flee the Taliban's rule.
We will stand with those who have stood with us. We are continuing to process visas for Afghans eligible for SIV status and their families.
The Taliban held its first press conference Tuesday, claiming it will respect women's rights.
We hear what they're saying, but it is their actions that really will define how they address these issues moving forward.
The U.S. joined dozens of countries releasing a statement saying we are deeply worried about Afghan women and girls, their rights to education, work, and freedom of movement. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
CBS News has confirmed the U.S. is freezing nearly $10 billion in assets that the Afghan government held in U.S. banks so that the Taliban does not have access to that money. Wind-driven wildfires rage through drought-stricken forests in the mountains of Northern California after incinerating hundreds of homes and forcing thousands of people to flee to safety. The newest inferno, the Caldor fire, continued to grow explosively in the Sierra Nevada southwest of Lake Tahoe, more than tripling in size in a single day, now to more than 50,000 acres. A little bit later on KOAM News, a parents group calls for action.
A series of child deaths connected to a dangerous social media challenge. I'm Fami Redwood with the changes advocates want TikTok to make.
But first in Health Watch, the latest on the prospect for COVID-19 booster shots. Topping today's Health Watch, a White House official confirms to CBS News that this afternoon, President Biden will announce a requirement that nursing home staff must be vaccinated to receive federal funding and participate in Medicare and Medicaid. Now, earlier today, federal health officials said fully vaccinated adults may need booster shots to fight the rapid spreading Delta variant. That push could begin as soon as next month for seniors and healthcare workers. Deborah Alfarone has more from Washington.
The Biden administration has formally announced plans to distribute COVID-19 booster shots for adults, 8 months after they've received their second dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine.
Pending FDA and ACIP approvals, boosters will be available starting the week of September 20th. It will be just as easy and convenient to get a booster shot as it is to get a first shot today.
Newly released studies suggest the effectiveness of the 2 mRNA vaccines against infection drops over time due to the rapidly spreading Delta variant.
We are concerned that the current strong protection against severe infection, hospitalization, and death could decrease in the months ahead, especially among those who are at higher risk or who were vaccinated earlier during the phases of our vaccination rollout.
Studies do show the vaccine's effectiveness against hospitalizations as relatively stable.
Despite the summer surge of new cases fueled by the unvaccinated, the Biden administration will reach a new milestone by the end of the day. More than 200 million Americans with at least one vaccine dose.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization again blasted wealthier countries for moving ahead with booster shot plans.
We're planning to hand out extra life jackets to people who already have life jackets while we're leaving other people to drown.
I do not accept the idea that you have to choose between America and the world. We clearly see our responsibility to both.
Federal officials say they are awaiting more data before giving booster shot recommendations for minors and those who've received the one-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
TSA has announced it's extending its mask mandate for travelers through January of 2022. Pregnant and lactating women who received the COVID-19 vaccine do not experience any more reactions than what is typically expected from a vaccine. That's according to a survey of more than 17,000 women. Last week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention formally recommended all pregnant women get vaccinated because they are at higher risk for severe COVID illness. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about the end of life for your dog.
But first, we'll break down when the heat will return and how high those numbers will climb when we come back. And Mother Nature hit the repeat pattern on our weather setup once again. Scattered storms, sure, but despite that, we all had another warm Wednesday afternoon. For some, very similar to what we dealt with yesterday, with highs topping out between 88 and 90 degrees. We dropped back, thankfully, at least to 67 this morning. Dropping so far, we've had highs range between 85 and 88, depending on which part of town you were in, before we saw these dips in temperatures because of good rounds of rain and a couple of thunderstorms that worked over the city of Joplin. You can see how we started the morning out mainly dry, but once we hit late morning and certainly into this afternoon, that's when we saw, surprise, surprise, another scattering of rain and thunderstorms with all this warmth and humidity in place. On the average so far, just today, 1/10 of an inch on the average, but heavier pockets pushing between 1/2 inch and 1.5 inches once again, with the thunderstorms that we're still continuing to track on the Skywatch storm tracker as this evening gets underway. You can see how most of the action is mainly along and east of 69, predominantly very far eastern Kansas and into southwestern Missouri. And as far as how these storms have progressed, they've fired up, and as they try to work to the north, some of them just completely fall apart since there's not a good updraft to keep these storms going. But for anything that's trying to survive, like this area of rain north of Joplin is trying to survive, so hopefully Pittsburgh can pick up on a little more rain if you've been hoping for a little more rain before the day is all said and done. But we've seen quite impressive skies, though, from 7th and Range Line. At least we're dry for now. But 73, northwest wind at 6 miles per hour, and that humidity quite high at 93% just because of all the rain that passed through the city not too long ago. If you're under the clouds and the rain, you're in the 70s. Everyone else is in the mid to upper 80s right now. And with the mid to upper 80s and the dew points, it feels like the lower 90s in some spots. But everyone's going to fall through the 70s, down to 71 as we go into tonight. The overall setup hasn't changed very much, at least at first impressions overlooking the four-state region. Not much change in the surface setup. Still watching this front that wants to keep some rain chances around for parts of the weekend. In the short term, though, still, it's all about this upper level low. Even though it's to the north of St. Louis now, this is still nearby to keep some rain chances going this evening. But I do think by 10, 11 o'clock, we'll get a bit of a lull in the action. Going into Thursday morning, maybe a couple isolated showers in the morning, but more moisture. We see a better scattering of thunderstorms during the afternoon and even into tomorrow evening. But despite that, it's going to be another case where a good number of us will see rain and others won't. If you don't see much in the way of rain, you'll go from 71 in the morning, 84 by noon, afternoon highs right around 88 degrees, and we'll still keep some scattered storms in the forecast for Friday. So just within the next 2 days alone, it's a case where once again, some of you may struggle to see a drop of rain, while others can see maybe 1/4 of an inch to about 1.5 inches with the heavier pockets of rain that'll march on through. With that front for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, maybe some rain chances, but it's mainly all about this upper level ridge building in, especially by early next week. We know what upper level ridges like that can do with temperatures around here. 88 tomorrow, 89 Friday, lower 90s for Saturday and Sunday. Then we're just hot and humid through the early next week, down 94 on Monday, mid 90s easily Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Students and businesses connected today on Missouri Southern's campus. It was the annual Community Day. 140 businesses showed up to talk to students about what they offer and job opportunities. MSSU has hosted Community Days for the past 15 years. Coming up, an effort to convince TikTok to improve parental controls. First, though, we recognize a local veteran of the Vietnam War. Alba, Missouri native Gene Maples served in the U.S. Navy from 1960 to 1985. Retired Lieutenant Gene Maples, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, advocates are urging TikTok to improve its parental monitoring features. This comes after a number of children died while attempting a dangerous challenge. Femi Redwood reports.
Joshua Zerihun was like many 12-year-olds. He did chores and would help with family meals.
Do you have something to share with the rest of us?
He was also an aspiring actor.
Brilliant, smart, outgoing. He's the light for our house.
But Haliesu Zerihun says that light was lost when his son died this spring. The family believes Joshua choked himself while attempting the blackout challenge on TikTok.
Right now it's very quiet. I don't even hear any loud noise at home anymore. That is the one that really gets me too. So sorry.
While dangerous games have circulated on social media for years under different names, the blackout challenge has recently been connected to several deaths.
TikTok's just not a safe place for kids.
Dahlia Hashad is with the group Parents Together. She says while there are some parental settings on TikTok, it's not possible to know exactly what videos kids are watching. The group has gathered more than 12,000 signatures on a petition requesting TikTok create mirror accounts.
Which means that kids would be able to log on their device and parents would log on theirs and they would be able to see exactly what TikTok is serving their children.
TikTok has not contacted Parents Together and declined our interview request. In a statement, the company says TikTok has taken industry-first steps to protect teens and promote age-appropriate experiences, including strong default privacy settings for minors. The social media giant also says it blocked content related to inappropriate hashtags or phrases.
I'm sure Joshua, if he knew this was going to kill him, I know he wouldn't do it.
Zerihun is sharing his son's story, hoping it will save lives. Femi Redwood, CBS News, New York.
Joshua's father launched a foundation for his son called Joshua Keep Shining. Final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more details on that letter signed by more than 100 area physicians urging school districts to mandate masking. And we're going to get the response from several area school districts. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Now today's KOAM News Now Instapoll question: should schools implement a universal masking policy? At this point, 3 out of 4 say no. You can participate in the poll, 3 out of 4 say yes. You can participate in the poll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live. We're going to check in on the final results tonight at 10. Pet owners sometimes have to make some painful decisions. Today's question for our pet vet on call comes from John. He writes, I'm afraid my 17-plus-year-old dachshund should be put down soon, but he hasn't seen a vet in years and it feels awkward to randomly call someone, ask them to euthanize an animal they don't know. Could you please offer a suggestion?
Yes, you may be correct. 17 is past life expectancy, especially if there's concurrent disease, and I suspect there is since you're thinking it's time. It is his end of lifetime, and it's your responsibility to help him cross over, awkwardness or not. The worst thing you can do is wait too long. No one's going to judge you for doing the right thing, and the right thing right now is to help him cross the Rainbow Bridge humanely.
Thanks for the question. We invite questions from anyone. If you have one, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question every Wednesday on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Now let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. We have a couple of pets available from the Joplin Humane Society we've chosen. One is that young black-mouthed cur mix, a female named Jade. Also, this male kitten, a domestic short hair named Feller. A couple of cute critters. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society?
You might go in looking for a pet, but you'll give them a good forever home if you do.
That's true. In some areas today, it was raining cats and dogs for a while.
Yeah, we still got a few more days worth of those rain chances sticking with us. It'll keep highs around 88 tomorrow, 89 on Friday. But despite maybe some morning rain chances Saturday and Sunday, that's when the heat starts kicking back in. Lower 90s for the weekend, mid 90s early next week.
Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we'll be right back here at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.